afternoon, friends. Stephen Benoon here with Israeli News Live, and we do have breaking news that is coming out of Ukraine, and that is Ukraine is taking a severe beating right now. Some of the private information that I received early, or actually yesterday, was that the armed forces of Ukraine are suffering a crushing defeat. The army's rout is no longer at a tactical level, but is taking on strategic character unless something dramatic takes place to cause NATO to enter the war on the side of Ukraine. All hope will be lost for Ukraine, according to intelligence assets are bluntly spreading word on intel circuits about Kiev's plan to conduct a false flag operation in Romania and Poland. And even that is being something that was put out a little bit earlier, too, by InfoWars. They put out a news broadcast where the Polish president warns that Zelensky and NATO were planning to stage a new false flag attack like one in November of 2022 as a pretext to bring NATO directly into the war with Russia. Now, before I go deeper into this, I also want to bring up something that I'm working on right now. Project Constitution sent me a private text there, something that he has, I believe he's the one that has found this now. A bullet casing bounces off the tent after Charlie Kirk's shot, hidden angle revealed, and it changes everything. And that's very, very true. And this is what we have here. I'll just quickly share this with you. This is right above Charlie. You see the camera there. And then what we're going to have as soon as it gets circled there you go. Look right up here near the top on the inside of the tent cover there. What's going to happen is a shell casing is going to go flying up there right after Charlie is hit there, and it's going to be captured as it's ricocheted. Now it's coming back down right there. Some would suspect that it's the camera. And I know from, of course, back in the 80s, the type of weaponry that was being developed then using cameras was all single shot type of weapons. There are no ejection slide casings or anything like that. But if you recall, I did the video here last week, well, 12 days ago, 2 weeks ago nearly. Sound signature pinpoints Charlie Kirk's shooter's location. And in this one here, I'll play that clip for you. We're going to do a deeper dive on this, but I want to just quickly touch on this. Listen to what I said here on this here. He's talking on the microphone, asking the question to Charlie. Okay? And then it's going to come up. All right, this guy here, I mistakenly assumed that maybe he had something under his arm. It is a cell phone that he has. I've looked at it so many different ways. Nothing, I don't, my opinion, they're not really involved in anything. All these men go to Charlie's. I say they're not involved, and with the shell casing being that close, I can't rule anybody out at this point. I do want to clarify that as well now. Other than the fact that we do have the laser that will appear, the infrared laser that reflects off of Frank's phone there. So it seems like the person is more in behind Frank. It wouldn't be that guy either, but it's going to be someone within about 10 or 15 feet of that tent that fired that shot. Immediately. I can't imagine them being in there, this, and by the way, all he does is he touches his face at that very moment there. He touches his face. He does not touch his ear, okay? Never his ear, just his face. Did he touch his cap? We don't see it in this particular thing here, but it was just he touched his cheek there, all right? So I think it's just coincidence, I don't think it's fair to accuse these men of anything at all, right? And also, too, it is noteworthy. Interesting, isn't it? Oh, it is back here. Sorry, I went too far forward. That's the first signature just that I picked up. Just a little pop sound. Right? And keep in mind, phones do suppress sound, but at that distance, the phone's not close enough for the sound suppressor to kick in. So it is a low caliber round. The shell casing the Constitution has now picked up shows that it's probably like a 380 or a 9mm shell casing. more consistent to what we see there. But then you're going to hear what I picked up early on from the person that was very close to the tent recording, and that's the mechanical ejection of a semi-automatic weapon. Right? Now let's go back again, though, to the one that's right there where Charlie is at. Now I'm going to put it at regular speed so you can hear it at regular speed. Listen in and watch also the laser that pops off the guy's phone.
In America over the last 10 years, counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
You hear that metal clank sound? The metal clank sound. Do you realize how close the photographer that's filming that has to be to the shooter to be able to pick up that sound so clearly of the actual clanking of a receiver? And of course, now the Constitution is showing that casing inside the tent as well. And casings typically go 10 to 15 feet. Now, generally, they are ejected from the right. But if a shooter has the gun like this, laid on its side when he's shooting, in order to help conceal it for some reason, then it would most likely flip up into the air as it's being ejected. And so that's still, it's very difficult to pinpoint all this, but now we're getting more and more information. The Constitution picked up the bullet between Charlie and Frank there that was filming. We picked up the laser itself. We did the sound signature, and now Constitution has picked up the shell casing. That shooter was probably within 20 feet of Charlie when he shot him. And that's just a rough guesstimation on that. So we're going to go into that a little bit later. But let me go back here to Ukraine because this is a very serious situation happening in Ukraine. I want to play a little bit of this clip here. Stephen Eugene Kahn here and what he says on the Ukraine situation that's unfolding right now. This is September 14, 2025. They told you Russia attacked Poland. They lied, which we knew that. We said that to you as well. And he brings out some very interesting information. Let's watch what he says.
Hey, pause for a second, will you? Just block out the noise in the past days. And I know it's difficult. But let's go back to Ukraine because something isn't right. And when something doesn't feel right, or when you really want it to be right, that's usually where we go wrong. Ukraine and NATO are trying to drag Russia into war again. I've said it for months, as you know. You remember the drone attack in Poland we talked about a couple days ago? I did a video. Some of you blasted me in the comments, called me a Russian sympathizer because I said it was a false flag. Well, the headline screamed, Russia hit Poland. New evidence says otherwise. Surprise, surprise. The drones weren't high-tech. They were old, duct-taped relics. No explosives and no payload, and that's why investigators found most of them intact in the first place. There was nothing to detonate. And the footage of the blown-up houses in Poland that Ukrainian channels pushed and international media picked up, locals in those neighborhoods say that damage was from storms months ago. Old photos recycled as war propaganda. Go figure. Wait.
There you have it right there. Old photos recycled as war propaganda. You also have here, Brian Burltek said here, and don't forget, every single long-range drone strike Ukraine carries out in Russia is also done using extensive U.S. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities only the U.S. has. The concerted campaign to strike Russia oil refineries, in particular with these drones, dovetails directly with stated U.S. policies of targeting Russian oil revenue, as stated by U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth as early as February of this year. And this is what he says here. To further enable the effective diplomacy and drive down energy prices that fund the Russian war machine, President Trump is unleashing American energy production, encouraging other nations to do the same. Low energy prices coupled with more effective enforcement of energy sanctions will help bring Russia to the table. They're trying to force Russia to make an agreement. We also have this here too in a German paper. Poland officially admits rocket came from its own plane, not from the Russians. The coordinator of the Polish intelligence services announced during the defense of Poland, the rocket of its own aircraft fell on a house in Poland. You have that information. And by the way, Poland and Romania, these are the two countries that are looking at bringing about these false flags. And of course, clearly, they are a great distance from Russia. And you can see, of course, Romania. I remember some of the intel that I'd received early on was that Romania was also being used using subcontractors so that we could have deniability close to the Ukraine border to launch attacks on Russian positions. So Poland and Romania, I could see why they would want to stage false flags because it would be more realistic for Russia to strike those areas, even if Russia did not strike those areas. And if you look at RT News, we also have other things that are coming out. Trump may have authorized Ukrainian strikes deep inside of Russia, according to an aide. Zelensky boasts Israeli Patriot now shielding Ukraine. So there's all kinds of news headlines that are going on out there right now that clearly indicate that they are trying to drag NATO into a war with Russia. And that is just part of that New World Order plan in the first place. A decision to greenlight attacks might already have been taken as Washington considers Tomahawk missiles deliveries. Keith Kellogg has said U.S. President Donald Trump may have already approved Ukraine long range strikes inside Russia. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg said on Sunday in an interview with Fox News. And Kellogg, who is often described in the media as pro Kiev voice within Trump's team, was asked about the president's recent remarks that Ukraine could recapture all the territory it has lost to Russia and maybe even go further than that, which the host interpreted as a sign of imminent long range strikes. So you can just imagine where we are headed with all these different talks that are going on. It's definitely not good. It is certainly leaning towards a very serious confrontation that is coming up in the not so distant future there. So um, think about it, consider it, keep these things in mind. Thank you for your support of our broadcast. We greatly appreciate that. IsraeliNewsLive.org. And we have a new video up on our website there as well. And also on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/Israeli News Live. We have 4 new videos up there, and we'll be doing another one yet later today. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. And by the way, that latest one that we have was posted on early release and on deep dive. The reason it's on those 2 there, it's also available for a single purchase as well, because some of that information that I put in there is very sensitive. It is copyrighted and it will not be released publicly. Thank you for listening. Stephen Benoon.